Okay, Christy, here's what happened. I wrote out my entire journal, and it was a long book of a rant, and then I lost the internet, and now it's gone. So I did not have the energy to retype it all up the way that I had it, so I decided to just make a video about it and let all of my feelings out on video for you to see. So basically, my observations this week, it was fine, and it was normal, and it was the same pretty much as last week. Everything was the same formula, and this isn't 2 days in a row, this is 2 weeks in a row, and it just got me to thinking how much of a struggle the system makes it for teachers, that teachers have to teach all day long, numerous classes with numerous different groups of students, because the problem is, it's so hard to be creative and interesting if you have to teach so much every day. Where is all your planning supposed to take place? I mean, when are you supposed to think of creative ideas and find awesome ways to teach and make things interesting and accessible and engage the students? I feel like the only teachers that take the time to do that sacrifice all of their outside time. Like they go home and they spend all their time at home planning, or they don't go home and they stay at the school and spend all their time planning. I mean, I don't know. You seem like a really good teacher, so when do you have time to figure things out? It seems like teachers are so strapped for time and energy, they don't have the ability to be creative. I mean, I sit there and I watch these boys try to add and divide fractions, and then these kids learn about the different types of volcanoes, and then we go to social studies and we watch videos on the different types of states, and all I can think is, like, why are we learning this stuff? What is the relevance to the lives of the students of any of this? I mean, I am 27 years old. I have a full-time job. Now I'm also a full-time student, and I have never in the real world needed to take two fractions that do not have a common denominator and do anything with them. I have not needed to do that, nor have I ever in my entire life needed to be able to identify the 4 different types of volcanoes. I mean, why? Why would we need to know that? Now, these things, the students, and I look at the students and they're bored to tears because what they are learning is just so irrelevant to what they do outside of class. They go home, they play sports, they have social interactions, they go on the internet, they watch YouTube videos, they go on Facebook, and that's all the stuff that they're talking about before class, in between classes, at lunch. But then they have to sit in class and learn the 4 types of volcanoes and how to take 2 fractions and add them together. Why? And I don't think... Now, this isn't necessarily the fault of the teacher. Obviously, we now have the Common Core. We have all these things that the kids are supposed to be being taught. So basically, this is my educational existential dilemma that I have always had. I mean, just to give you some history, when I got my first degree, when I went to college straight out of high school, I started in the education program. And then I got into drama, and I thought, you know what? We teach so much just stupid things. We teach so many things that they don't need to know about. They don't care about. I'm not going to do it. So then I just dropped out of education, and I did a drama degree, which I loved and I was passionate about, and I love working with kids, and I love working in the theater, and it was awesome. And then I couldn't get a job, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I am supposed to be a teacher after all. Maybe that's what God wants me to do. So I went to LCC for a semester and dropped out again and had an existential crisis. I went to Baker for like a quarter or 2 or something, and then I dropped out, and now I'm back again, and it always comes down to this. Why spend so much time teaching students things that don't matter? Why spend so much time teaching students things that they don't need to know, that they don't want to know, they don't care about? I mean, one of the things I wrote in my journal is that I sincerely believe that every single person, everyone on this earth loves to learn, and the beauty of it is that we all love to learn about different things. We all care about different things. And that's what makes us human. That's what makes us unique. And so why do we take students and put them all in the same place, all at the same time, day after day, doing the same routine, saying you've got to learn your fractions, you've got to learn your volcanoes, you've got to learn this, and you've all got to learn it together, and you've all got to learn it in the same way. I know in this class, that's our whole point, is that everyone doesn't learn in the same way, and we have to find ways to differentiate that. But the problem is the system, the structure of the system is about uniformity. So we're fighting an uphill battle if we're trying to help students with different needs learn in different ways. And the other battle is that they have struggled with learning anyways, and now we're teaching about things they don't care about and they don't need to know. So, what's the point? I guess is my problem. And I'm not saying I don't want to be a teacher, and I'm not saying that these are the big questions we need to ask, and I feel like they're not being addressed. I don't, like, in all my classes, sometimes I just want to be like, doesn't anybody realize that we're teaching things that don't matter? Does that bother anyone? Does that bother anyone besides me? I guess is just a question I have. Like, does it bother anyone when they sit? This is what always has bothered me. Substitute teaching almost made me drop out of wanting to be a teacher, because I would sit there and I would have to teach some things that don't matter. And kids always say, well, why do I have to learn this? And in the history of the world, I doubt any teacher has ever given a good response, because they don't have to. Every single subject we teach, okay, I get that we have to teach them how to read, write, and do basic math. Those are the three, yes, you need to be able to read, you need to be able to write, you need to be able to add and subtract and multiply and divide. Those are three things you should be able to do. Other than that, no. Like, what? No, I don't need to know what the volcano differences are. No, I don't need to do anything with fractions. Kids learn to hate learning because they're not allowed to follow their passions. Like, right now, I am studying math for the pre. I am writing papers about history for my classes, and then there's things on the side that I'm getting very interested in learning about. There's different, I'm not going to go into it now, but there's other things that I love to study about and I'm passionate about, and I'm like, oh, give me more of this, and I'm reading articles. But then it turns into, I have to choose. Do I follow my passions or do I follow my education? There shouldn't be such a dissonance between those two things. Education and passion should be one in the same. When we are passionate, that's when we become educated. Learning for the sake of learning makes no sense, because you will not learn anything. You won't. You'll forget it all. I learned all the stuff these kids are learning now. I learned it when I was in school. I don't know any of it anymore. I walked out that door only knowing about the things that I cared about, because that's the way the mind works. That's the way humanity is. You retain the things that interest you. And a teacher can't make a kid who doesn't care about math care about math. You can't do that. That's not how, we're all different. We're all unique people with unique passions and dreams, and school stifles it so terribly. And that's just, it's very frustrating for me to sit in classes where not only are the teachers not passionate and not engaging with the students, but they also are teaching material that is completely irrelevant to the lives of the students. We live in the age of the internet. We live in the age of free information. There's libraries, there's Google, there's everything. You can go on the internet and learn about so many things. You can learn about anything you want. You can dig and watch videos and read articles and check out books. You can do it all. No, but why? Why do we make them sit in a building with a bunch of people who are all just fighting the same thing? Why do we do it? Why? These are the things that keep me up at night. These are the things, and I mean, these are the things that make me want to be a teacher. That's why I want to teach. I want to change, but I can't change the system. I can only change the way I work within the system. So I can only go so far. You know, I can only do so much. And I guess it's just very discouraging to see teachers who aren't even doing that. And I don't even know if they know that they're not doing that. I think it's so easy to get into a rut and get stuck in a rut. And you just do the same routines over and over and over. And you have to shake things up and say, wow, why did I become a teacher in the first place? I'm dealing with students who don't want to be here. How can I make this awesome for them every single day? But it's so hard because teachers don't have time. They don't have time to do what they need to do. They don't have time to create and be creative. They don't have time to keep learning barely. I mean, I know you're taking like other classes and you're teaching this class and you're teaching at the middle school, and it's like, woo, I don't even know how you have a free second in your life. But I'm so glad that you're doing all these things because it's awesome and it's helpful, and I think you're a really good teacher. So I guess it's just like, so frustrating to see people who don't put themselves into teaching. I guess they're not like, it's not like, wow, it doesn't exude from them. Why are there so many bad teachers? Is it the system? Is it because the system's so broken that they just don't, we flounder and we don't know how to just get out of that rut? What is it that just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you love teaching, and I know you love learning about teaching and learning different techniques about teaching, and that is so inspiring and invigorating. And why would people not want to learn about how to be better at what they do? Why would people want to just clock in and clock out? I guess that's all basically I have to say. That's my thoughts from the week. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm going through. It's what I'm always going through. Why are we teaching them these things? But how can we teach it better? There are ways. We just have to seek and find and commit. We just have to do it. We just have to do it. So my quote of the week is, learning for the sake of learning will never get their hearts a burning. Joseph out.